Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video and to another 220% lead video, this time using Carnival LR Broly. I did say I was going to do this after the little bits I was seeing from him in the LR Full Power SSJ Broly video, and that is exactly what we're going to do now. Now, we all know how his base works. You keep him in base, he's pretty much indestructible for a turn. It works out really well, especially early on. Especially while units are building up. But I'm going to transform him. I'm going to transform him immediately so we can have his active skill ready to go ASAP. Still one of the most simplest but best active skills in the whole game in my opinion, just because his active skill is literally applied for the rest of battle. No one turn, two turn shit. No. Broly keeps that key +3, 26% attack and defense. I do have in LR Broly on this team this time. I know it's not ultra realistic if you were going to do this to have him on the team just because his domain only lasts 3 turns. Then he's quite vulnerable. However, they do link very well together. And that is in LR Broly's buddy. Like those two, that rotation is just solidified and still is to this day right now. So I'm going to have them together. The only annoying thing is, we are 1 key shy, just 1 key shy of an 18 key super attack, so we don't get to stack immediately, which is a little bit annoying. What are we sitting on stats wise? 865k, 235k defense. I mean, we have everything active, well, important wise, aside from Berserker. So that's actually not bad. But of course, because we have already transformed, we've already got that 26% damage reduction for 3 turns to go on top of the 50% he already has in general from base in his passive. And of course, because he is in slot 1, we do have guaranteed guard. We do mess out on the 200% defense before attacking because we've already attacked. But then because we only managed to get 12 key super attack off, we have raised attack and defense by 30% twice. And that is why Carnival LR Broly is still so good to this day. Like, I know he hasn't been out for years. Like, he came out during September during Worldwide of last year. But this is why he's still usable. You know, we've shifted into the 220 lead meta. I know there's not that much of a jump. There's not that much of a gap between 200% to 220. But there's a jump nonetheless. There's a jump regardless. But the reason why in LR Broly's team continues to thrive is, number one, not only because it continuously receives insane buffs, whether that's new units or EZAs, like most recently TEQ LSSJ is one of the most ridiculous EZAs in the game right now, and you just have so many amazing options. Don't get me wrong, some of them are start to age just a little bit. I think that is kind of shown in the Jiren fight, and some of them in LR Broly being included in that, while he is still very good, while he still provides a lot for the team, especially as like a team protector unit. His domain only lasts 3 turns, and that's why you always kind of want to have 2, which I was debating whether I actually bring him on this team because it will only last for 3 turns, so we're going to try and hold on to it. Because we can trigger it. That's the funny thing, we can get the domain active, we just need to get Super Saiyan 3 GT Goku on the rotation, pop it, then get Gogeta next to them, then use the active skill, and we're going to have that nuclear 1 turn with all the support and also the domain active. So I'm very much looking forward to that. We just need to get Broly on the rotation first. Yeah, let me do this, because that way we can get the guaranteed additional with Nameku, which definitely want. Hopefully in LR Broly should be fine. But, you know, even with 2 domains lasting 3 turns each, so that's 6 turns in total, it still kind of works. By the time they run out, in LR Broly's still in a good enough spot where you can beat Jiren, for example. You know, I've done it recently where he becomes a bit more vulnerable, but it's still doable. And one of the main reasons, even though a lot of units are starting to age and maybe in LR Broly isn't necessarily suited to longer content, Carnival LR Broly is. He's kind of suited to every form of content, and no matter what, has a pre-order, a guaranteed slot. In slot 1, no matter what event, no matter what content you do, Carnival LR Broly is going to be on that team if you are running in LR Broly's 200% lead. So, if Carnival LR Broly can get a 220 lead this year, where you can run him with other Broly units and work off domains. Maybe we get a brand new, you know, Dragon Ball Super full power SSJ Broly because we don't actually have a standalone one. And if he has a domain, even better. But right now, Broly is one of the reasons why in LR Broly's team just continues to be in such shape it is. Another one of those reasons is his active skill. Always loved his active skill. To me, it's one of the strongest in the game. Just for the fact you can activate it from the next attack in turn when you transform him. So if you transform immediately, you can literally have it out ASAP by turn 3. I know in realistic runs you're going to keep him in base, but obviously it's a possibility. And none of that one turn shit, nothing like that. Key +3, 26% attack and defense for the rest of battle. So what are we up to? 638k, 329k defense. We're going to actually get to make the most of that 200% defense before attacking as well, because we do have 2 Goku Black attacks before Broly gets the super. At least now we do have 18 keys, so we can start the stacking. We can start the 50% attack raise. Also giving me my additional because I have received an attack. 17.2 mil. And this is why he's a mainstay and keeps one of the biggest reasons as to why in LR Broly's 200% lead continues to just run the way it does. Not only is there just more great EZAs and units consistently added and buffing that team, but you always have a slot 1 unit ready to go in Carnival LR Broly. You know, and that's from base. You know, you have that indestructibility for 1 turn. You then have when you transform him where you have an extra 26% damage reduction for 3 turns, which I think we have 1 more turn off. Could be wrong. The 50% damage reduction he starts with, and then the guard and 200% defense of being in slot 1. So no matter what, you have a slot 1 unit for that team. And as I said, while his 200% lead continues to get buffed, which I'm completely here for, because it's still one of the best 200% leads in the game. Obviously now it just gets overlooked a lot because we have shifted into a 220 lead meta and we're just kind of waiting for all of these units to be added to 1, which is what happens when there are, you know, meta shifts in leader skills. But consistently having a slot 1 unit ready to go, to be fair, you don't even have to run him on that team. You could actually run him here, which I know a lot of us have done, just to have a slot 1 unit, which a lot of us did do. Because initially during the 10th anniversary, we weren't getting that many slot 1 capable units until we had more EZAs and more new units released. So Carnival LR Broly was one of them. And the best thing is, sure, you may miss out on Berserkers, you miss out on a bit of damage. However, Carnival LR Broly stacks, you can make him stronger and stronger while having an amazingly solid slot 1 unit. As I said, 50% damage reduction at all times, 26% extra for 3 turns, guard, 200% defense in slot 1, a unit that can benefit from both 10th anniversary LR Gogeta and Vegeta's 220% leads, and of course another unit added to the list that can benefit from Gogeta's active skill and that support. So Carnival LR Broly is probably going to be one of the best aging units from last year. Now, in terms of how long we can keep him fresh for, kind of probably depends on which direction we go for content, even though he is suited for kind of all sorts. The only thing you might not be able to maximize in short content is how much he stacks or how much damage he does, but even then, he does a solid amount of damage. Just longer content, you could do even more with the stacks. But then it's just whenever he gets his 220 lead, where he can be ran with other Brolys, or essentially just have that better domain and support going, because there's a lot of support on that in LR Broly 200% lead that we miss out on, but we don't quite have a 220 lead to tie all of that together just yet. But for the most part, it is possible to run them, of course, on this 220 lead here. Even Goku's one as well, just kind of depends which one you want to go for. I went for Gogeta just because we have 2 of them, so we have 2 sets of support. But from last year, I definitely stand by that. Carnival LR Broly might end up being one of the best aging units in the whole game. And I think I stand by that. I think I really do stand by that. Just because he's built for slot 1. And then with a 220 lead, with all of those components together, you know, we got most of them right now, but not all of them. With all of them together, we honestly could see, as I said, one of the best aging units in the game. Now, I can get Gogeta support, which I kind of want to do because I want to see it without the domain. And then when we get Super Saiyan 3 GT Goku come about, we can get the domain up. And then when the next Vegeta comes about, we can then fuse them into Gogeta and then use the active skill again. And then we can have that kind of just nuclear one turn. So this will probably be the realistic showing. You know, you might have got an extra stack up, maybe 1 or 2 here and there, depending on when you transform him. But this will probably be the most realistic you get to see Carnival LR Broly, because you can bring in LR Broly with you on this team, but as I said, with a 3-turn domain and you not having a second in LR Broly, so you end up putting him in a vulnerable state a lot earlier on in long content, which you really don't want to do. You're probably not going to bring him, and you bring Carnival LR Broly pretty much just to be an out-and-out slot 1 unit. Which I said, he's more than capable of working really well on this team. Because of his links, they're just standard Saiyan links. Aside from Berserker, that is a shame you miss out on that, considering you do get an extra, at level 10, 30% attack when HP is 50% or less. But then we don't want our HP to drop that low. So with the support, I mean, Carnival LR Broly with his active skill, of course, still in place, has a 1.367 mil attack stat, 493k defense. Don't forget, there's an extra 200% in slot 1 before he's hit. No domain for LR Broly, but I mean, he is actually kind of benefiting from Gogeta's support right now. Super attack in slot 1 right off the bat. What's Carnival LR Broly tanking this for? I'm pretty sure this is in the realms of 2 mil as well. 641. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot, and he's already doing 34.5. He's barely stacked, and there's no domain, and he's already doing 34.5. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage. I'm pretty sure his 26% damage reduction is gone. So it's a little bit less. But the main thing is, we don't have a domain up. Typically, when you're running Carnival LR Broly, it's going to be next to this guy with a domain up. With his domain up. Whether that's your one, whether that's the friend one. So he would tank that for a lot less if we did have the domain going. But I think the fact that he just survives, considering how hard enemies are hitting nowadays, I think it's still pretty impressive. Again, at this point, it sounds crazy that this isn't as much as it used to, but of course, this is just the way meta works. This is how meta shifts happen. 50% damage reduction and God. It's not like he has well over a milli defense here. He has quite a bit of defense, but he doesn't have like millions and millions. I don't think he even breaks into a mil pre-super. But just 50% damage reduction and guard with Gogeta support is enough to help him survive here. No domain, no 26% damage reduction. I'm pretty sure it's gone. Could be wrong. And as I said, it's not like he has well over a mil defense before he attacks either. So for the fact that he just manages to firm all of that, even though that's a lot of damage to take, it's still quite impressive. Like, let's not forget, there are units that came out last year that we're not even using in the current content right now. This man came out in September. Now, that's not that far because the anniversary happened end of January, beginning of February. But we've had such a giant leap in how hard enemies hit and how difficult content can be, that the fact that Carnival LR Broly is still usable to the extent he is shows how good he is. It's not like he's barely usable or just usable. No, he is just very good. It's as simple as that. He is just very good. Now, what I'm going to do is, because we should be good to do this, because we'll have one turn here and then the next appearance. I am going to pop this. And then I am going to pop him into Gogeta. But I'm not going to use his active skill. Just essentially so we can survive. We've got Super Saiyan 4 Goku out. Let's now get in LR Broly's domain up. Chuckle for them. Breathe a nip. Show some chest. Ha 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 ha. Okay, we are ready to go. We are ready to go. Let's not forget as well, this is another reason why Carnival LR Broly can work really, really well on this 220 lead because of Carnival LSSJ 4 Goku. His support also applies to Carnival LSSJ 4, not Carnival LSSJ 4 Goku, Carnival LR Broly, because he also belongs to Power Beyond the Super Saiyan. So that means Broly's getting an extra 10% damage reduction, taking him up to 60%, along with guard, 200% defense before attacking in slot 1, and we have the domain up. This is also another reason why Carnival LSSJ for Goku can work well on in LR Broly's uncontrollable power team. So we have 1.46 million attack, 428k defense, along with the power beyond the Super Saiyan support. So the 70% defense, and of course, the extra 10% damage reduction. There's also a super attack in slot 1. This super attack's what, like 4 mil, I think? And type disadvantage. So with the domain and the power beyond the Super Saiyan support, what are we looking at right now? 460. And there's a 30 mil attack stat with another 50% stack with the domain up. 460. I'm pretty sure Zamasu here does 4 mil. Let me actually go check just to be sure. Just so I'm not waffling. I'm going to come with receipts. It's the Vegeta Story edition of it. He's putting out, yeah, 4.8 million on a super. And Carnival LR Broly also has type disadvantage. So, do you know what? A 400k tank, firming that for 400k with type disadvantage, I will take that. And this is why I stand by what I said. He is going to be one of the better, if not best, aging unit from 2024. Because you can get more use out of him. Or essentially, use out of him, not just on in LR Broly's 200 lead. You don't have to run him with him. He can be run here without him. Obviously, it's better within LR Broly because of the domain and the Berserker link. But you can run Carnival LR Broly elsewhere. It doesn't just have to be on that one team. That's the thing. You have a guaranteed slot 1 unit that can be used in multiple categories. Some slightly better than others. Yes, given. But then also can put out damage. And if given enough time, can do a lot of damage. Now, there is a super attack in slot 1. The only thing is, because we've already used both their active skills, I don't think we actually survive. Like, I really don't think we survive. And we've shown what we've needed to show with Carnival LR Broly tanking. Like, he is good here. I mean, he does have guard and 60% damage reduction. But we have next to no HP. He has 16%. So I am going to use an item. The only reason why I'm going to use an item is essentially just so we survive. Just so the survival is guaranteed. How much are you getting? The same? I'm actually going to do this instead. The reason why I'm going to do that instead and not go for the counters is because I don't want to do too much damage. Now, it's probably some of you are thinking, oh, why are you using an item? You don't need to. I said, I don't want to do too much damage with Vegito. I don't want to get the kill because next time we can have Gogeta support and in LR Broly's domain with Carnival LR Broly. And I want to see it. So I'm making sure we get to see it. So I'm minimizing the amount of counters we do so we don't do too much damage because this guy's going to super attack about 3-4 times as well. So number one, I'm making sure we survive because we only had 16% HP. And I'm also making sure Zamasu survives so we can actually see that rotation. But honestly, Carnival LR Broly, man. If we just get a 220 lead that, I don't know, also has a domain that buffs him, that can overlap and work well and not, you know, interfere with LR Broly's, like one goes down, you then use the other one and vice versa. I'm not gonna lie, he's gonna be in a very good spot. Because not only will he be on a 220 lead, not only will he have one, he'll then be at his best also as well, linking wise, and also have the domain. I mean, if we do get another lead, a 220 lead, that is better suited for Carnival LR Broly, but doesn't provide a domain buff, then it's not the end of the world. We're seeing that right now. You know, he's been doing well without one. But as I said, definitely, and I stand by it, going to be one of the better, if not the best aging unit from 2024. You have a guaranteed slot 1 unit that has Saiyan links, so can be used with other Brolys. Can also be used on the 220 leads we have right now while he doesn't have any more. that also does damage because of the stacking. The only thing that can go against him is if he gets a 220 lead extreme team where he doesn't get to link with no Brolys whatsoever. Because for some reason, and I stand by this to this day, I do not understand how no Broly unit in the game, aside from Broly, Chilai, and Lemo, get big bad bosses. That just doesn't make sense to me. How does Broly not, by himself, how does Broly not have big bad bosses? It doesn't make sense. He's big, he's definitely motherfucking bad, and he's definitely a boss. I know that's not the criteria, but he fits the name, okay? But for some reason, Broly, Chilai, and Lemo get big bad bosses? As I said before, is it Lemo's beanie or something? Is it the bad posture? Like, why do they get big bad bosses, but no Broly unit by himself does? So this is what we've been waiting for. We have every linked active aside from Berserker because of the hill. 2.62 we've managed to stack up to. 510k defense. Don't forget, we have Domain up. We have Gogeta's support. We have him pretty much perfectly linked up aside from Berserker not being active. I think the only thing I could have done was made him slightly better defensively by having Super Saiyan 4 Goku on this rotation. And that's probably about it. Could you imagine that? Super Saiyan 4 Goku support while having Gogeta's support up and also a Domain if we rotated in LR Broly off last time instead of Super Saiyan 4 Goku. That would also be juicy. That's another thing you could do. What are we looking at? 39.5. 39.5. It's honestly, it's decent. It is very good. Of course, if it went a bit longer, we could stack him up a bit more. That attack stat could be a bit higher. But a slot 1 unit, an out and out slot 1 unit, because you always want him in slot 1 because of the guard and the damage reduction, putting out pretty much 40 mil. There's not many slot 1s in the game that can do that outside of the most ridiculous EZAs, of course, being the year 7s. Now, I'm not paying attention to the damage because we do have an item active, but as I said, man, definitely going to be one of the better aging units from 2024. But he is amazing on a 220 lead, and I can't wait for him to get one where hopefully all the best parts of him can come together. But yeah, Carnival Broly, man, 2020 leads. He needs one because he's sick on this one. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Have a great day. And peace.